Have you ever thought about what it would be like to say an entire sentence? Subject, action, time, the whole deal, all in a single word? Well, in some ancient languages, that's not just a cool idea, it's exactly how they worked. Today, we're going to be linguistic detectives, and our mission is to crack the code of one of the most efficient information systems ever made, the Greek verb. Okay, let's just dive right in with our main mystery. Take a look at this word right here, elethin. Now, to get that same idea across in English, you need 3 separate words. I was released. It tells us who something happened to, what that something was, and that it already happened. So that's the big question, right? How on earth does Greek manage to pack all of that information, person, action, voice, tense, into one elegant little package? Well, that's what we're here to figure out. Think of this as a code-breaking session. By the end, you'll see the hidden architecture inside this one little word. To break any code, you have to start with the most fundamental piece. And for a Greek verb, that's the root. It is the absolute heart of the word's meaning. So, the root is basically the foundation of the word. It holds the core concept. In our case, the root is just 2 letters, lu, pronounced lu, and this simple little piece means to loose or to release. Think of it as our anchor. Everything else we're about to look at is just built right on top of this. Okay, so we have our core meaning, release. But how do we add all the other details? You know, the when, the who, and the how. Well, we attach little bits of code, prefixes and suffixes, to the beginning and end of that root. These additions control 3 main things. First, tense, which is pretty straightforward. It just tells us when something happened. Then you've got voice, which clarifies who's doing what. Are they doing the action or is the action being done to them? And finally, there's mood, which tells us about the action's reality. Is it a fact, is it a command, or is it just a possibility? And get this. See how a tiny change makes a huge difference? To go from the present tense, I am losing, to the future tense, I will lose, you just add one single letter, a sigma, right after the root. That's it. One letter is all it takes to literally jump forward in time. Now, going into the past is more of a 2-step process. First, a prefix called an augment, this little epsilon here, gets tacked onto the front of the root. And then the ending changes too. It's like the verb is flagging both ends of itself to shout, hey, pay attention, this already happened. Now let's talk about voice. In the active voice, I will loose, the subject is the one doing the loosing. But to show that the action is being done to the subject, the verb shifts to the passive voice, I will be loosed. And you can see right there, this is all communicated just by changing the suffix. The root is the same, but the ending tells a totally different story about who's in control of the action. So these endings are already doing a ton of work with tense and voice, but they have another absolutely crucial job. They also tell us exactly who is involved, whether it's me, you, them, or us. And this is where the system is just brilliant. Just look at the endings. That almen ending is I. The almen ending is we. Each one is totally unique, so there's no confusion. In English, we need a separate word, a pronoun, to say who's doing something. But in Greek, nope. It's baked right into the verb itself. Now, as if that weren't efficient enough, Greek has a few other little tricks up its sleeve. Let's call them special code changes that make the language even more precise and, believe it or not, a lot easier to say out loud. We're going to quickly cover 3 of these. And actually, we've already met the first 2. The added sigma that helps with future and past tenses, and the epsilon augment that's like a timestamp for the past. But let's check out that 3rd one, a really neat little feature called the movable nu. First up again, the added sigma. Like we saw, this letter is a huge clue for tense, often telling you that you're looking at the future or a specific kind of past tense. Next is that epsilon augment. This prefix is a dead giveaway that something happened in the past. If you see it at the beginning of a verb, you know the action is done and dusted. And finally, the movable nu. This one is so cool because it's not about meaning at all, it's about sound. A nu, which is like our letter N, can be tacked onto the end of a word just to make it flow better into the next word. It stops 2 vowel sounds from clashing. It's the exact same reason we say an apple instead of a apple. It's just about making the language sound smoother. All right, we've gathered our clues, we understand roots, prefixes, suffixes, and all the special rules. Now, it's time to go back to our original mystery word and put this knowledge to the test. Let's finally crack the case of a lithion. Here it is, broken down into its 4 distinct parts. Each piece has a specific job, and now we can see exactly how they all work together to build the final meaning. So let's walk through it. First, we've got that at the beginning. That's our augment. Boom, we know this happened in the past. Next, we have lu, our root, which means release. Then comes that theta, the th sound, which in this context is a classic sign of the passive voice. So the action was done to the subject. And finally, that ending, in. This little powerhouse tells us 3 things at once. The mood is a statement of fact, the person is first person, that's I, and the number is singular.
And there you have it. Past tense, release, done to me, and the me is I. Put it all together and you get I was released. Every single piece of the English sentence is right there, accounted for inside that single Greek word. It is an incredible piece of linguistic engineering.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? The words we often take for granted are built on these complex logical systems. So the next time you use a simple word, maybe ask yourself, what hidden stories and ancient codes are packed inside? What secrets are just waiting to be decoded in our own language?